Hi, friends. It's Beth here with Aging Care Solutions, offering experienced professional and personal guidance for caregivers, families, and seniors navigating the journey of life. Today's topic, as the video indicated, the title, is when is it time to move my parent? And this might be something that maybe you're not sure. When is it time for me to move? One of the things that I knew for my parent was that it was her illness that really drove the whole decision making process. When she was diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia, my mother could not safely live at home. She may have been able to do it for a little bit longer, but I really didn't want to take any chances while she was still driving, cooking, taking medications, making donations. Just so many different things were happening that, from a liability perspective, her attorney, her doctors, and her financial advisor just said, sometimes you have to make hard decisions in life, and it's not always easy. It wasn't for me. I had to move her from the only town she'd ever lived in, and all of her friends. She grew up there, so she had friends for 60 plus years. Her church, her just everything that was familiar, including the home that I grew up in, that they moved into in the early mid 60s. And that was a very difficult thing for me to have to navigate for her, but it had to be done. I It's challenging when you look at someone who's in a home and they're still rational, they're paying their own bills, they're driving, they're very active. You get very attached. All of us do. There's a lot of sentimental value to the contents of that home and the comfort and safety that you feel in your own space. Um, but but when but when the financial and physical safety of someone is potentially at risk, it was not even a choice. It had to be done. So I would have you look at whether this is for you, whether you're deciding to move to assisted living or you are helping a family member or a loved one navigate their life and their aging process, and what services and what they would best benefit from. People that can afford assisted living, it can really change their lives. It can really bring a lot of quality to their life, especially if they shared a home with a spouse and their spouse dies. And, they're social, they're seeing their friends or they're doing some things, but unless they're very active and maybe they've joined a senior center or they're doing some sort of fitness or, playing tennis or something where they're going to be engaging with people, they may only see people occasionally unless they really make an effort. Whereas with moving into a senior living situation like assisted living, or even if they were to move to a senior community where you're still independent but you're surrounded by more people, typically that's in a high-rise building or a campus where the folks are 62 and over. But as far as moving to assisted living, if your loved one is having more and more hospital stays and they're ending up in rehab for a number of weeks, and they just kind of keep going on that cycle, that revolving door, hospital, rehab, home, it's probably getting much clearer to you that your loved one does need more assistance. And if you live close by, you're providing all of that. If you're managing that person remotely, I would say consider it. And I'll tell you how I did it is we toured facilities. We made it our mission every week or every other week to tour two or three places. We looked outside of the particular county that I was in because it's a rather expensive area to live. So to me, it made sense to look at the next closest county up from us, and it just made sense. And it became a wonderful place for my mother to spend, the last decade of her life. Um, some of the times that I would say that you might be considering a move for your parent or yourself is if it's just becoming too much to manage your home. Many times it is, it's a lot of work. I mean, that's why it was like the husband would cut the grass and take the trash out and do any of the fix it things. And a lot of women can do that, but I'm certainly not going to navigate a ladder and clean out gutters. I'm not going to paint the side of a house. So most of it is going to have to be done. You're going to have to hire everybody to come in, which is fine because they're professionals and they can do landscaping and cut the grass and you know, uh, but if you're still active and you're able to stain your deck every couple of years and you're able to get all the furniture in and out of the basement for your deck and plant your garden and do all these other things, otherwise you're really just your house may be falling into disrepair, which means you're going to lose money in the long run. The other time you might consider it is if after your spouse dies. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you do this immediately. I mean, that is one of life's most debilitating and grievous times of anyone's life is when you lose a spouse or even a parent. It takes a long time for you to adjust to that, and I don't think you really ever do many times. Um, but I think that there is something to be said about being around people in the same age group, people that can keep you continuing to live life. Because I think when you're by yourself, you can tend to go in to a very sad place that can last many many years. But I think if you're around people and you make friends and there's so much to be offered at these places. And I think first of all, fitness and exercise and games and live music. Some of these things, it's what raises your spirit, and really brings, I think, a quality to our lives. I would look. I would also look like if a lot of the friends of that individual have died. A lot of times, the things that did keep you social were engaging with those folks. But if someone's best friend moves to assisted living or they pass away, a lot of times that's what was keeping somebody home is the spouse was still there. Maybe they had pets that were still alive. They had friends. Maybe they were still doing volunteer work together. But when your friends are gone, it's like, you know what? Change is a hard thing, especially for seniors, because the longer you stay somewhere, you can't even envision yourself getting up and going into sitting at a restaurant style meal every night. But it would be great to have someone do your laundry, come in and do your light housekeeping, help you navigate the campus through activities and different things that are going on. So I just I'm a big proponent of it. I really do think, yes, staying home is ideal because to me, there is no place like home, right? Um, and I think about my life and how I've moved 17 times in my life. No, my family was not in the military. I moved. I moved when I was 20 years old, and I sort of moved all those times. I moved once from my parents' house, and the rest of it was because I felt like a gypsy for so long, but I enjoyed it. In fact, I'm going to be moving again in probably the next 6 months. So yeah, there is a lot that comes with it, but I think too is if you were to meet one new friend and or find one new activity, um, and you can embrace what life is going to offer you after you leave your home. I just feel like it's worth exploring. It's worth finding and just touring. And I think, sometimes when my mother lived in an assisted living, not too far from me, outside Washington, I spent a lot of time there on the weekends, and so I would see all these different people that were coming in. And one afternoon, it was a Saturday afternoon, I was there with my daughter who was little. She was so cute. She was like 4, maybe 5, and these two really stylish looking friends, these women came in, and I was like, "Hey, are you visiting?" And they said, "No, we're looking it's assisted living. We're both in our late 60s and we just want to see what is it like out here and what does it look like and the cost and what do they offer and I mean they were in their jeans and their like high heel boots and they had their jewelry on and I was like they looked so sassy and cute and everything and I was like, maybe this is like the new assisted living, like what people are going to start. They're just going to we're all just going to get older, but at the same time, we're going to need these resources and we're going to need a place to live. Why not do it with a lot of other people? I think life is more enjoyable when you are surrounded by people, whether you're friends with them or not. I mean, that's how you're going to make a friend is by, seeing people that are coming and going from the place that you move. So I would encourage you to look. There's a lot of 55 and over apartment communities that are out there. And sometimes they have beautiful activity rooms, like what's called a common area, where you can host parties. They have, sometimes they have different games, like game tables, poker tables, and just different things in them. And I've seen events that are hosted in these rooms. And there's just so many different. There's a community here that's 62 and over that's close by, and they're small cottages. But ultimately, if you're thinking of moving your parent and they are older and their health is declining, I think assisted living would be the way to go. And I'll tell you that if they were to move from their home independently, from the family home into an independent apartment, they still have to manage all of their own medication, transportation, weekly groceries, any appointments that they might have, and it really does fall on the family, or or everything has to be ordered in, or transportation has to be arranged. But there's something special about considering assisted living. I think that it definitely could be an option that you'd consider. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you like the content that I'm creating and that I'm starting to build this channel on, please consider subscribing. It would really greatly help me out. I'd like to bring more content, including guest speakers, friends of mine that have been in the industry for many years, like I have, and have different perspectives. People who are clinical, people who offer different types of services that are geriatric and senior based. So, anyway, I hope to see you at the next video and have a great evening. Bye.